Okay, so today we're going to do 3.2, and this is called adding integers. So before we actually get into adding integers, we have to do a vocab word. So we're going to say numbers are called additive inverses of each other when they are opposites and their sums equal 0. Okay, so my vocab word there is additive inverse. It sounds really scary, but it's actually a really, really easy concept. So the first thing I want to focus on is opposites. If I have 2, what would my opposite be? -2, because they're same distance apart from 0 on the number line. Or if I had -12, my opposite would be 12, because once again, they're the same distance apart. Another way to think of that is if their sums equal 0. So if I take -2 and I add 2, I end up getting 0. So if you look at a number line like I have on my wall, which you can't see because you weren't here, if I start at -2 and I add 2, 1, 2, I end up at 0. Or if I go the other direction, let's say I start at 12 and I add a -12, that means I'd start way up here at 12, and I'd count down 12, which would bring me to 0. Okay, so that's what additive inverses are. Opposites, they add together to be 0. Okay, now to the actual adding stuff. Adding integers with the same sign. Okay, we have no calculators on this lesson. Really, this chapter is a pretty much no calculator chapter because you have to learn how to do this without a calculator before I let you have one. So our rules for adding integers with the same sign is simply just to add them, then you keep the sign. All right, so example 1, 7 plus 4. Just add 7 plus 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and they're both positive, so my answer is positive. Pretty simple, right? Example number 2, -7 plus a -4. So I still add them because they have the same sign. 7 plus 4 we know is 11. Then I keep the sign. If they're both negative, then my 11 is going to be negative. Okay, if you think about the number line, if I start way down here at -7 and then I go -4 more, 1, 2, 3, 4, I'm now going to be at -11. So that's kind of how it makes sense. Example number 3, -8 plus -7. Another way I always tell people, if I owe you $8 and then I owe you 7 more, I end up owing you $15. Just add them, keep the negative sign. Okay, try this one on your own. -18 plus a -12. I know my answer is going to be negative. 18 plus 12 is 30, so it would be -30. Last one on this one, 10 plus 4. Not a trick question. 10 plus 4 is 14. Okay, so that's integers with the same sign. You just add them, you keep the sign. Now we have adding integers with different signs. My rules for this one is to subtract them and then keep the sign of the bigger number. Okay, and I know that seems so silly, you guys saying, subtract them, what? But I'm adding. This is where life gets a little crazy. Subtracting, adding, you realize that it's kind of all the same thing in essence. Just because there's an adding sign doesn't mean you're adding. There's a negative, and subtraction signs are kind of the same thing. So yeah, it kind of gets confusing. Okay, so let's just walk through this one. 9 plus a negative 4. I'm just going to take 9 minus 4, which is 5. And then which one is bigger, 4 or 9? 9's bigger, so that means my answer is going to be a positive 5. Okay, if you think about the number line thing, if I start way up here at 9 and I add negative 4, so I go down 4, I'm now at a positive 5. This takes lots of practice. Let's switch it up. Negative 9 plus 4. I have different signs because that's negative, that's positive. So I still do the same thing. 9 minus 4 is 5. But now this time, which number is bigger? The 9. So my answer is not going to be a positive 5. It would be a negative sign because I would start down here at negative 9 and count up 4, negative 8, negative 7, negative 6, negative 5. All right, so we got 10 plus a negative 12. Subtract. I need to move this down, sorry. So 12 minus 10 is 2. Which one's bigger, 10 or 12? 12's bigger, so it would be a negative 2. All right, negative 13 plus 18. Subtract. 18 minus 13 is 5. Which one's bigger? 18. It's positive, so it would be a positive 5. All right, last one. I have to flip to the back for one problem. Negative 14 plus a negative 6 plus 6. So you can only add two things at a time. So I'm going to go ahead and look at these two. Forget 14 for a second. What are these two numbers? They are additive inverses. They're opposites of each other. If they're opposites of each other and I add them, my answer is going to be, 0. So really my answer is just negative 14. So always try to look for loopholes like that because that makes your life a lot easier than having to add those and then add that back. Just look for opposites. That makes life way easier. All right, that's it.